Welcome, everybody. This is Link.
And Sora, with a new headset.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. This is our first tutorial that's actually going up on the channel. We've recorded a couple of tutorials here and there of our old setups and stuff, but nothing really happened with them. I don't even know if I know where the files are. But we're here today to do a quick XSplit tutorial on how to record anything, but in particular we will be looking at how to record and play Smite. For those of you who aren't familiar with Smite, it is just a free-to-play, or what is it called?
MOBA, Multiplayer Online Battle Arena.
Thank you. So it's kind of like League of Legends. It's a very fun game. I've recently gotten addicted to it because of Sora and Boogan. But we're here today to show you how to use XSplit because it is a nice program. However, right now you just see a black screen. This is what XSplit looks like. Ta-da! Okay. XSplit is a free program with limitations. Otherwise, you can get it for like the I don't know what they exactly call it. It's like the regular level. It's $15 every 3 months, so $5 a month. Or you can get a professional level, which has even more options on it. Now, the thing that I love about XSplit is we can literally record anything on it. Every video that has come out on our channel in the past probably year and a half, 2 years or so now, has been because of XSplit. It's a phenomenal program. It's great for doing live streams, great for doing local recordings, so you just recording yourself and then editing it later, and it's just a wonderful asset because of how much you can do with it. I'm going to show you a few of the basic things that you can do, and on top of that I'm going to show how to play a game on your computer on this. You can do this with Minecraft, which would probably be the most popular use for this, or Smite, League of Legends, any of the games that you play on your computer. It works with Steam games as well. I've played Team Fortress 2 and recorded it using XSplit, just to name a few. So to start off with, when you're on XSplit, you're just going to have a black background. You're not going to have anything really in here. If you see right now this black area, that's what you start with. This is just a screen capture I added. Yeah. So the way that XSplit actually works is, bring this back up. It's very confusing for me trying to figure out how to do this because I can't just do it on my screen. I have to like do it in this screen to make sure that people can see it. It's kind of messing with my head right now. So, what we're doing right now is adding anything you want to add. So, the bare basics, you hit add down here. You can hit screen capture. The
bare necessities.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Oh no, I don't blame you, especially with the new movie coming up eventually. Okay, so
anyway,
you can add a screen capture, which we have right now, as you can see by our wonderful, I don't know what's going on back here. You can add a game capture, which is how you capture any of your Steam games, any of the Minecraft or Smite, any of those games that you just
pretty
open
much
up.
Anything that runs on a separate window, you can run through the game capture, like it'll automatically pick up.
Yep, anything you want to, you can run through there. So if I want to, I can just hit add Smite right here, and it's not going to show up because I'm not in game, but I'll make that like this.
If you have it windowed, it will, but I don't.
I'll go like this onto here, and right now, hopefully, you will be seeing that I'm on the Smite homepage. That's the basics on how to add a game. Now, oh, it did show up. Sweet. Okay. Now, adding a game like that sometimes isn't the best way to do it. Unfortunately, some games don't run very well off of that. As I've found, Smite does not run very well off of that. That's why I have this wonderful desktop screen capture going on, because Smite, along with actually, I think Team Fortress 2 worked better off of a screen capture versus off of capturing the game itself. Basically, when I'm on the desktop screen capture like this, I can just hit Alt and Tab to switch over, and now I'm back on Smite. So this is how we've been recording all of our test videos and any video that we will in the future, because it is the best way to do it with Smite. It takes, for some reason, it takes less CPU to actually screen capture the whole thing instead of running the game through it. Kind of backwards logic, but you just gotta go with it. Other things that you can add is you can actually add media files. So if you have an image or a video you want to add in here, you can actually do that right off of it. It's really nice to do, especially if you have something where you want to put a video playing in the background while you're doing something else. You can add that in there. You can add a webcam, which I've done in this scene right here. Hello. Other things you can add Skype calls. That's one of the most important ones. That's in the other. So you can add a Skype video, and what the Skype video does is it takes the actual video from your Skype. The audio is already going to be on there. Any sound that is running through your computer is going to be recorded. So right now, I have Discord open with Sora over here, and we're in the same area. And the reason you can hear him is because my audio from my computer is playing through and you can hear it. So on a Skype call, if you don't want the video to show up, you don't need to add the Skype video. This is only if you want to see somebody else's face on your stream. That's how we used to do our Gears of War and Dead Space 3. That's how we did those videos. Otherwise, this is how we do every weekly update that we do. And in the background of our weekly updates, you can actually see that we have an image there that we've put there. Unfortunately, it's not the most up-to-date image, but we still have that in the background. Another thing to note about adding different things, you don't need to just have one thing up. You can add multiple media files. You can add another webcam. So I can just add my webcam here, and I can actually even add my webcam here. And if you really want me to, I can add my webcam here, and I can even add my webcam here. I'm just doing that for fun. But as you see, you can do a lot of different things with it. All of these you can move around, you can rescale them, you can change how you want things set up. So you have full control, you have full range of mobility with everything in here. What I'm doing right now is just hitting delete to get rid of it. Also, I'm using my crappy webcam that's built into my computer. It's not the webcam I'd actually use for streaming. You can add all kinds of stuff into this. You can add custom text, and you can add audio devices. Now, I'm going to show you a different way to add audio devices that I believe works a little bit better. But if you have a secondary audio device that you're trying to record with as well as a primary one, then you can add that in this
like a headset.
Yeah. Well, the headset and the audio, you can actually run it a little bit easier if you go to Tools up here and hit General Settings. General Settings is where most of your audio is actually going to be worked with. So here I have the microphone set up to be the Samson Go Mic, which is the microphone that I currently am using. Now, when we play games through our capture device, we actually have to add a delay to it, our audio, because the capture device has a delay coming from the TV to the system. We'll do a tutorial on that later, but that's another one of those things that you can add in, and I'll show you guys that in another video. The other things you can do is hook up different accounts, so you can actually video share some of your videos straight to YouTube, straight to Facebook, and straight to Twitter. Actually, you post on Facebook and Twitter. That's how you can announce your streams and such. And in the advanced column, you can do a lot of other stuff that you probably don't need to worry about if you're just getting into XSplit. But that is the tools menu. So the other thing that's important, other than the audio quality, is your visual quality. If you go up to this drop down right here, oh, it will let me, cool. This is all faded out because I can't change it since I'm already recording, but you can add different resolutions in here. You can actually do a custom one if you would like, but this way you can choose what quality your video is going to be. When I record Smite, because my computer is a bit of a turd, we use 540p or 480p. It depends on the night. Some nights are better than others. My computer just kind of decides, I don't want to work this evening. But that's something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself, as every computer is different. Frame rate, you can choose 30 frames per second is like the general one, but if you have a computer that's capable of running 60 frames per second and you're doing 1080p videos, that is going to be the best quality. Your games are going to look beautiful, but make sure that in your games you also have those settings, because if you're running 24 frames per second in game and you're trying to record in 60 frames per second, it's still going to be 24 frames per second. You'll have to make sure you can do that. Now, the next thing that's really important is broadcasting, because you have all this set up. You have your audio, you have your video, you have your game added, you're all ready to go, but now you have to actually do something with it. So, to start off with, I recommend going to My Recordings. This will open up the current spot that you're going to be recording your videos as you either do the local recording, which are all these videos in here, or when you stream, and this is when I've streamed to Team Rexora Productions on Twitch. So, as you can see, you can choose your location down here, you can open the folder, you can go through all of that stuff, and the nice thing about this is if you get YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter all set up to go, you can share right to those using this menu. You can also edit things right in the program. However, the editing software isn't necessarily the best editing software, so be warned. So now you go to the broadcast. As you can see, I'm locally recording right now. If I wasn't locally recording, it would show start local recording. And in this little gear right here, you can actually go... Oh, well, I can't go to the settings. I'll do it for this. You can actually go through the settings, and you can change different bit rates. You can change you used to be able to change the resolution right in there, but they added it up to here in version 2.7, I believe, is when they added that. So, anyway, you can do all kinds of editing for that. You can stop your local recording, which will save a video for you in that file that I just showed you. Okay, shut up. I don't care. And you can do all kinds of fun little things. I recommend just leaving it at the regular setting if you don't really know what you're doing, because it is a very standard setting. Otherwise, there is a lot of help online. XSplit has a pretty decent forums page. On top of that, if you go to if you ever go on Reddit, there's also a very nice topic for how to record using XSplit. There's lots of questions that have been answered in the past. It's a great resource to go to. I highly recommend Reddit for that. Now, for most of you, you're probably going to want to broadcast on Twitch, because Twitch is the top gaming network for live streaming. Otherwise, you can record on YouTube. To do that, you'll hit Add Channel, and you can actually add one of these. Now, if you just click it, it'll start broadcasting to that location. If you go to the little gear, you can edit all of your information. Just as a basic rundown on how to use the Twitch XSplit, you want to select a server that's close to you. Generally, those are the best ones. So I'm close to Chicago. That's probably the closest one around, so that's what I chose. Otherwise, you can test bandwidth, and it will it'll tell you how you're actually doing on that server. Or you can hit automatic, which sometimes gives you a better one, and sometimes it gives you a better one for part of the time, and then it actually becomes a worse server to go off of. But try that out, play with it. The important part is the account. What you'll want to do is either use a stream key or web authentication. If you use the web authentication, you'll type in your name and you'll hit authorize right over here. It'll bring a little pop-up that you'll type in all of your information. You'll give your password and your username, and it'll allow you to stream to your Twitch account. If you use the stream key, you can always grab that off of Twitch. There's tons of tutorials on how to do that. It's just in your account settings. Not very difficult to find. It's very nice. Now, a couple things that you might want to note is that bitrate, generally they put it very high. They assume that you have a very well-off computer, but if you don't have one like we do, lower your bitrate. if you go on to any of those forums that I've mentioned before, you can find guides, and one of them will be linked below. You can find a guide that'll show you what bitrate you should possibly have for what quality video you're doing. At a certain point, bitrate just becomes showing off, but for a lower quality video like a 7 or like a 540, 480 video, you don't need the highest bitrate. The other stuff you can play around if you would like to, but the important thing that I like is automatically save recording on local drive. This allows us to then go back and edit all of our previous live streams. We get a list of all of the videos we've done. We can see all the stats about them. That's when it saves to that Twitch folder that I showed you previously. That's where you'll find it. Alright, now going past the basics, we're going to talk a little bit more about the scenes and the presentations that you have. Generally, we just run off of 2 presentations. Our general one, that's the desktop, where we can record any game on here, or we have one that we can do all of our weekly updates on. Now, what I'm going to show you real quick is in the scenes section. You can actually hover over each of these to see what they look like. But when you click them, it does a transition and it goes to a different scene. It's very nice if you have a huge setup. Say you have a bunch of different games you're going to play for a longer stream. What you can do is set up scene 1 to have, say, Left 4 Dead. And then scene 2 could have your Smite. And scene 3 could then have just face cams. And scene 4 could just have a full image of something that says "be right back" or "be back in," and then have a timer on it, whatever you'd like to do. It's a very nice way of switching it up without having to completely restart the program and like change what presentation you're in. So I've been talking about presentations a little bit. Let me show you. If you hit File, you can do Save Presentation. Or you can hit Load Presentation, New Presentation, whatever you'd like. You can also log out. This is what we are known as in XSplit's registry. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit Load Presentation. I'm going to go... As you can see, we've had a lot of different presentations. A lot of these are kind of dead, and they don't work very well. But... let's do the weekly update one. Hopefully it works. Alright. So as you can see, we have the weekly update video all set up here. And this is our basic presentation for this. We don't have any other scenes set up. We just use the first one. So my video's here. When you add Skype in here, it shows up like this until you actually open Skype. Now, I just have this basic image in the background. As you can see, it's just hanging out over there. Skype's just hanging out down there. I can get rid of Skype if you want. If you want to, you can get rid of anything. And that's just a basic image. So if I were to click the little check mark next to it, it just disappears. So as you can see here, we have another example of a scene. So it says no device right now. This is the Elgato. Elgato is the hardware that we actually use for recording all of our games that are on consoles, such as Xbox or PS2, Wii's, anything we've ever recorded that's not on a PC itself, we've used an Elgato for. Or back in the day we used a Roxio, but now we use Elgato. So as you can see, it says camera not available. That camera is actually a different webcam that I had plugged into the computer that we would use because it's a bit better quality than the one I'm currently using. As you see, I'm grainy and I'm really gross. But on the far side and on the bottom, I have 2 little banners that are made of images that I just edited, and actually, I will show you. There's an overlap between them. Nine Toes is over there. He's an image, and the Psycho is an image, and the Elgato lays on top of that so that you have this nice crisp border. And when we were playing, it was too much to have our camera over the top, So having the camera over the top edge like this, it was just too much having that there. So what we did is we shrunk the Elgato down. We put this little border in. Sometimes we actually had a border that looked like this more, but it really didn't work with this because we were trying to make the game bigger and us smaller and the border smaller. So that's why we added 9 toes and the Psycho in the bottom. And why the camera is so small, it's because it only had all 3 of our heads. It didn't have anything past that. So as you can see, guys, this is the most basic way on how to use XSplit. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. I will try my best to answer them, and if I left out enough stuff, I will actually go back and do a redo tutorial. Hopefully this has enlightened you enough that you can now go out and feel confident in doing your own streams, whether they be just you talking on this program, or it could be you playing a game, or it could be you cosplaying, whatever you want to do, making a craft, anything. This program is wonderful for that if you want to use your computer to actually record what you're doing. And is there anything that I missed, Sora?
I don't think
Okay.
so.
Well, with that, I don't think there's anything else I need to say in this video. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments. But it's been great. I hope that this has helped you, and it has at least enlightened you in some part about how XSplit functions. Thank you very much for watching us, and we'll see you again next time. Have a good one. See ya.
Bye.